All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for San Mateo County's Public Safety Communications Informational Session. We are thrilled to have you all here today. My name is Shannon O, and I'm the Recruitment Marketing Analyst from the county's HR department, and I'll be your host for this exciting journey. Today, we will be providing a glimpse into what it's like to be a 911 dispatcher with our incredible team. We will go on a virtual tour of our state-of-the-art facility, discuss the application process, and hear directly from San Mateo County's Public Safety Communications Leadership Team. Before we begin, please note that today's event will be recorded. So if you need to log off for whatever reason, or if you know someone that was unable to attend today's live event, this will be available for viewing on San Mateo County's Public Safety Communication website at a later time. Also, you will notice a QR code on all the speakers' Zoom backgrounds. So when scanned, it will take you to their current recruitments page on their website. So if you're joining by phone, I've provided the link in the chat as well. Okay. At this time, I would like to Claire Espino and Ametria Sidney. These two women have a combined 50+ years of 911 dispatching experience. Natasha has been a lifelong employee of San Mateo County Public Safety Communications. She started as an office admin and has worked her way up to director, holding every position in between, including dispatcher, dispatch supervisor, quality assurance and training supervisor, operations manager, and assistant director. Ametria became a part of the leadership team at San Mateo County's Public Safety Communications approximately 2 years ago. Prior to this role, she accumulated experience at both the Oakland Police Department and Oakland Fire, holding various significant positions. Beyond her professional commitments, Ametria currently serves as the second vice president at CalNENA, the California chapter of the National Emergency Number Association, an organization that offers support to 911 centers across the nation. Adding to her responsibilities, she holds a position as a member of the State of California 988 Technical Advisory Board, which was established by Governor Newsom, and the Office of Emergency Services. Her primary focus within this role is on assessing the feasibility and facilitating the planning for seamless communication between the 988 and 911 services in the context of behavioral health crisis interventions. Without further ado, I now would like to turn it over to Natasha and Ametria.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you, all of you, for today's event. I'm very excited to tell you about our wonderful organization. I'm fortunate to be able to work with the very best dispatchers and the best emergency responders in the nation. Being a 911 center is not a responsibility we take lightly. We're the first responders who answer the phone when you have an emergency and provide emergency medical pre-arrival instructions during medical calls. And we are the people who send help. We take pride in being here to serve the residents, visitors, and public safety partners of San Mateo County. Welcome.
Once again, welcome to our first virtual event. San Mateo County Public Safety Communications is the only tri-center in San Mateo County, which means that we're responsible for all fire and medical calls in the county. We also partner with several law enforcement agencies, including San Mateo County Sheriff's Office, Daly City Police, Broadmoor Police, and East Palo Alto Police. In addition, our center has several countywide support duties, including mutual aid coordination. Our administration strives to provide all of the tools for dispatchers to be successful, whether that be a state-of-the-art equipment, a commitment to ongoing training, or a brand new clean and well-lit facility.
Remembering to unmute. Building on what Ametria said, I want to share that dispatcher well-being, wellness, and equity are just some of the most important initiatives here at PSC. It is my personal goal to ensure all dispatchers are given the support and resources to be able to do this incredibly difficult job and retire healthy and happy. PSC is one of the only departments in the county to have a full-time well-being and belonging coordinator. We place a huge emphasis on dispatcher well-being, quarterly wellness visits, resiliency space, and mental health resources, not just following traumatic incidents, but to be involved with and available for dispatchers on a daily basis. Now I'd like to introduce you to two of our dispatchers who have joined us today, Veronica Robles and Robert Nieves.
Hi, my name is Veronica Robles. I am a dispatcher 2 here. I work primarily on the law side of the room. I've been here for about 4.5 years now. What I love about being a dispatcher is that every day it's something new. It sounds like it can be the same thing over and over, but every day I'm learning, and every day we handle things that we've never handled before. This is my partner, Robert. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Robert Nieves. I'm a dispatcher as well, and I'm a training officer and training instructor here with Public Safety Communications. I've been here about 8.5 years now, and one of the things that I love the most about my job is the fact that we're helping the community in San Mateo County, and we're providing them service, trying to help keep people safe, and along with our fire agencies and our law enforcement agencies that we dispatch for, the teamwork and camaraderie that all comes together is just a few of the things that I enjoy the most about what I do here. I'd like to now introduce Jeff.
I did it too, Natasha. Got to unmute. Thank you, Robert and Veronica. I appreciate both of you being here so much. My name is Jeff Collins. I am the Support Services Manager here at Public Safety Communications. I've been with the county a little over 12 years and have been here in PSC for the little over 2. My role as a Support Services Manager is a number of things, but most specifically, I'm in charge of all recruitment and all hiring and everything in between here for our department. And it's something we're really focused on and really excited about, and as evidenced by our event we're putting on today. Someone I work very closely with at the county HR department is Chet Overstreet, and I'm going to throw it over to him now.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Chet Overstreet. I'm a management analyst or a recruiter with the Human Resources Department here. I've been with the county for 17 years as a recruiter and also as a recruitment supervisor. Public Safety Communications is one of my customer departments, so I facilitate the recruitment process for them. And it is really quite an honor to be working with Public Safety Communications staff and with our job applicants and job candidates. Shannon?
Thank you, Chet, and thank you all for your introductions. Now that we have met the panelists, let's learn a little bit more about the facility. This is a fantastic opportunity for those of you interested in becoming a 911 dispatcher to get an inside look at the heart of our operations. As we prepared for this event, we identified the possibility of a video lag. So again, this full webinar will be available on our website if you would like to rewatch the facility tour. That said, I'd like to welcome back Jeff Collins, who will guide us through the tour.
Thank you, Shannon. All right, so we're starting outside of our building, which we refer to as the ROC, which is the Regional Operations Center. We share our building with the Department of Emergency Management and the Office of Emergency Services. The first floor, as you can kind of see to the right, is almost exclusively meeting space, which is a great thing to have for us. We're coming upstairs to the second floor, which is where our office is. We occupy almost the entire second floor. You're seeing our kind of entryway here that leads to our admin wing. And as we come around the corner here, you're going to see the hallway that leads down to our operations center. The ROC is still a brand new building. It opened in 2019, has all the newest technology, and was built specifically for our department. So there's some nice things to have. Our first stop on the tour is our training room. This is just something that separates us from a lot of other dispatch agencies. We have 6, as you can see in front of you now, dedicated terminals that are 100% for training. They are fully functional terminals, and in the event of a major incident, we can turn them on and they would be functional, but 95% of the time they're used in a training capacity. This is just a huge benefit for anyone that comes on board with us. It's just a great space to learn how to be a dispatcher. It allows us to use our different technologies in a training environment, in a training mode, so that when you do hit the actual floor, you're comfortable with everything that you're touching and you've been on a real live simulator right up until you get out there. Most other small agencies just don't have this luxury. And unfortunately, you're kind of training in a live environment, which can be very nerve-wracking and very difficult. In addition, there's a nice space here for other items like geography and call types. Now we're moving over to the heart of the operation where the magic happens. This is our operations center, and we are extremely proud of it. You see in front of you 23 terminals. Our terminals are broken up by different groups. On the near side of the room to us now is our call taker and our EMD group. Our EMD is a specially trained person that can provide medical instruction over the phone in the case of a medical emergency. We're on the other side of the room now, and now you're looking at our dispatch pods. Our first 2 pods are for law dispatching, with our back pod in the back left corner as we kind of head towards it here. That is our fire and EMS pod. As Natasha and Demetrius kind of mentioned, we handle all fire and medical calls for the entire county, and our law pod operates 5 radio channels for our law enforcement partners. As we get close here, this is the thing we're most proud of, and this is our floor-to-ceiling windows. Prior to moving into this building, us, like most other dispatch agencies, were in a bunker. We were in the basement of the Hall of Justice, and it was just not a good working environment. Having those floor-to-ceiling windows really makes a difference, and it makes a really nice place to work, and we're super proud of it. We're transitioning here into some of our well-being items. You just saw a quiet room. Hopefully you never have to go in there, but the reality of the situation is you're going to take a call at some point that you have to deal with, and we give you the space to be able to decompress and take a breath. We also value physical well-being, so we provide a dedicated workout center here on site. This is back down on the first floor of our building. It is only accessible by people that work in our building, so pretty much dispatchers. As you can see from the video here, we do take really good care of it. We've invested in some really nice equipment, and it's accessible to our employees 24/7. So it doesn't have to be on shift. If you live in the area and just want to pop over on a day off to work out, you're more than welcome to. You also, before your shift, after your shift, there's shower facilities, so you're more than welcome to work out at that time too. Moving back upstairs, this is our kitchen and break area. Being a 24/7 facility, we need to make sure that you're able to function 24/7. And frankly, if you're working at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not that easy to get a cheeseburger. You'd think it would be, but it's not. So we have all this space available so you can bring in your food, so you can prepare your food. Just a little perk of being in a 24/7 operation. We also use this space as kind of a meeting space. Unfortunately, being a first responder agency, that means you respond on Christmas and you respond on Thanksgiving. So we try and create events for those that have to work on those days to make it as pleasant as possible. Things like potlucks and other things like that. And some of our dispatchers will bring in fruit and put it in there and things from their garden. So it's just kind of a cool community space. You're looking at our balcony right now, again, with the well-being. If you need a minute, you need a break, it's just nice to be able to go outside and get some fresh air. Some of our dispatchers will bring a book, and in their break, they'll sit outside and just kind of relax for as much time as they can. Again, in the dispatch world, this is very unique. Not very many agencies can brag about having a real nice balcony that any tech firm would be happy to have at their facility, that's accessible to our employees and our employees only. The rest of the county is not coming up here and clogging it up. It's for our dispatchers. And like I said, we're really proud of this coming from the basement. One last look here at the outside of our building. Again, that's the balcony on the right there and our big floor-to-ceiling windows on the left. Hopefully you're interested in our agency and we progress along and we can give you a real in-person tour, but just wanted to give you a quick idea of our space. So thank you.
Thank you for the tour, Jeff. Now let's move on to our second segment, where we'll go into detail about how to apply and the brand new in-house testing process for the call. To explain, I'd like to welcome back Chet Overstreet from County HR.
I also forgot to unmute. Thank you, Shannon. So to apply for a position with the county and specifically with public safety communications, you can go to our website at www.jobs.smcgov.org. I think that'll come up on the screen a little bit later. This is the county's career page, and all positions for which we are recruiting are listed there. When you click on the apply button, after you find the public safety dispatcher job announcement, which is usually in the upper right-hand corner of the apply button, you'll be asked to create a free account in governmentjobs.com. Your application will reside there, and if you apply for jobs with other jurisdictions that use governmentjobs.com, you can update that same application. Or if you apply with us later, you can update the same application. Once you've created your account, you will need to complete the County of San Mateo employment application form and answer any questions in the supplemental questionnaire. Once you hit submit, you will be automatically notified that your application has been received. Then within a day or two of receiving your application, we will send an update with information about next steps. If your application is incomplete, you'll be notified that it has not been accepted. Most likely though, the email will provide information about the next step of the application and selection process, which is completing the Critical exam. The Critical exam is a computer-based test that assesses a person's competence to perform a 911 dispatcher job correctly. It's a skills-based assessment rather than a specific trade or field knowledge exam. So the exam is really designed to just assess your ability to do the aspects of the job. There's several modules on the exam that cover different essential skills and abilities for the role, such as typing, map reading, multitasking, reasoning, memory, and perceptual abilities. Previously, applicants were required to take the Critical exam in person at the South Bay Regional Public Safety Training Academy in San Jose. So it wasn't really very convenient necessarily. For your convenience, now we provide you with a link to the computer-based exam. The exam will be proctored virtually, and you can take the exam at your convenience. And the exam will probably take approximately 2 hours to complete. Those applicants who achieve a passing score will be invited to interview for the position. And Jeff will tell us a little bit more about the interview process. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chet. That was an awesome explanation. Yeah, that's so at that point, HR hands the applications over to us here in the department. We will conduct a panel interview, most likely through Teams. We've been doing that for a couple years and it's worked out well, so we don't have any intention of changing in the near future. So your initial interview will be virtual. You'll be meeting with more than likely 2 members of our dispatch staff, or it could be me and a dispatcher or me and a supervisor, something along those lines. Once you've completed the panel interview and you pass, you will then be invited to enter the background phase of the hiring process. Our background phase is mandated by the California Post, which is the governing agency over law enforcement agencies in California. So they outline exactly the background we need to conduct. It's all done online. You'll be invited to register with a website where you'll fill out all of the information. That information, along with a number of documents that you're required to get, will be given to an investigator. That investigator will conduct the investigation. It involves a number of things, but most thing that you'll remember is the investigator will come to your house. They'll do an interview with you. They'll talk to your friends and your family and your former employers, all pretty standard stuff. In addition, we do conduct a polygraph exam. If you're successful in all of those things, then you will move on to the final 2 phases, which is a medical and a psych exam. Again, all of this is kind of standard under Post, and you can go on their website and look at all the details as to why and what's involved in that sort of stuff. But frankly, the background investigation actually sounds a lot more intimidating than it really is. If you just take it question by question, and you're honest, it usually ends up working out pretty well for folks in this profession. Once you've completed all those sorts of things, the background and the panel interview, then we get to start talking about fun stuff like start dates and the dispatch academy that we will send you to in the first phase of your employment. I do want to point out that once we do hire you, even if you're in training, you get paid at that point. So when we send you down to the dispatch academy, that is on our dime, as well as you getting your hourly wage while you are in training. It's kind of a nice perk of public safety is ongoing training is a big thing here, and it takes a lot to do this job and be qualified for this job. But we're there to support you every step of the way, even with things like paying you while you're in training. So awesome. Thank you. With that, I will throw it back to Shannon.
Okay, thank you, Jeff and Chet, for sharing that information with us. Now it's time for our panel final segment, the Q&A session with the experts themselves, the dedicated team members of San Mateo County Public Safety Communications. And before we start, please take note that the following questions were submitted via email during the registration process, and our panelists will do our best to address as many as possible. For questions that remain unanswered, we'll be providing a written response and make them accessible on our website. All right, let's begin.
All right, hello. So my name is Robert again, and I've got the first question that was submitted is, what are some of the most rewarding aspects of working in public safety communication dispatch? And I think for me, knowing that I'm making a difference in someone's life, that person's having an emergency, potentially one of the scariest moments of their life, and I'm responsible for getting them the help they need. For me, I dispatch on the fire and medical side of things. So I have the training to help them get through any emergency, potentially playing a part in saving their life or the life of someone they love. In the most severe situations and circumstances, I'm giving CPR instructions over the phone. So when we find out that the patient has made it to the hospital alive, just knowing that much alone, we've given them a chance to survive and a chance to live a longer life. Finding out later that they've made it home and are back with their family again, it's the best news that we could ever get as a dispatcher and as someone that has played a part in getting them the help that they need.
Question number 2 is, what does a typical day look like for a dispatcher? So I work 12-hour shifts. So when we get there, we figure out what radio we're working on the law side. There's 5 different radios that we can work, different police agencies, whether it's Daly City, East Palo Alto, Sheriff's Office. On the fire side, there's 3 fire radios and EMS. So we figure out which one we're working. We set up our terminals, and the rest of the day is answering phones for citizens when we need to, dispatching officers, doing what officers request us to do, whether it's running a person through the system, running their vehicles, entering vehicles. We basically do that. We're the magic behind the officers. So everything the officer does, we're the ones doing it behind their little headset or behind their radio. We're making the magic happen behind the scenes.
Next question that we had was, what steps do you take to ensure that dispatchers are well equipped to handle various types of emergencies? So what we do, Jeff hit on earlier, we have an extensive training in-house, as well as some out-of-house training outside of our dispatch center. We do a post-training police officers standards and training. And then we do on the fire and medical side, especially for medical, we have the International Academy of Emergency Dispatch. Those both are handled outside of our building and with private organizations and companies that deal with that. In-house training includes how to handle and process calls for service and using the technologies that are available to us. So it'll start with a 2-week, like an introduction to basic CAD skills. And after that, they will go to their specific disciplines of training, whether they're on the law side or the fire and medical side of things. They will then go off at some point in this training. They'll go do their post-training outside at another facility, or the IAED program, the International Academy of Emergency Dispatch, the EMD work is done here. They actually get on a computer here, but it's run by someone, could be anywhere in the country that is certified to teach that aspect of dispatching and call taking. Those trainings go 2 to 3 weeks. And then once they're done with that, they'll come back in and we do a very specific in-house training. If they're on the law side, they're going to do a 2-week to 3-week law call taking training, where they get experience with how to answer the phones, how to ask the questions, what types of questions to ask, and with that decide what type of, is what we call a type code or a call type to use, which then goes off to the dispatcher and they dispatch the units to the call. So 2 to 3 week program for that. Fire and medical side, it's the same, about a 2-week program. What questions do we ask? How do we ask them? And what conclusions do we come with that? From there, you will go out with a training officer on the floor for 8 to 12 weeks, and you will take live calls and you will learn with the trainer right next to you, giving you feedback as you are doing these live calls in a true real life situation. That's an 8 to 12 week on the job training, as we call it. After that, you will be a call taker for a little bit, and depending on training needs, depending on availability of trainers and the room, you will then at some point go back into training and learn how to become a dispatcher. The dispatcher classroom time, academy time is going to be, again, another 2 to 3 week academy classroom time. And you're going to talk the specific discipline, either law dispatching or fire and EMS dispatching. So you're going to do a 2-3 week classroom session. And then again, you will go back into the on-the-job training, OJT as we call it, on the floor with the trainer sitting right next to you for 8 to 12 weeks, dispatching live calls in the real life world. And so that's the bulk of our training. That includes technology training as well. And I know that's one of the questions that's coming up. I'll talk a little bit more about some of the technologies that we use. But nuts and bolts, that's the training process when you first start with us here in the dispatch center. I want to have the next question too. Sorry. So the next question is, what shifts and scheduling options are available for dispatchers? So we have essentially 4 shifts. So we do 12-hour shifts. And so the basic foundation of our shifts is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or you will go 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., which is the graveyard shift or the night shift. So we have 2 sides of the week, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then every other Saturday. And then the other side of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then every other Saturday. So the A shift, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then the B shift on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we alternate Saturdays. So Saturdays are always covered. So the foundational shifts are the 6 to 6 day shift, 6 to 6 night shift. We also have shifts that come in the middle of the day. They'll start as early as 8 a.m. and they'll do 12-hour shifts as well, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then we have, it kind of alternates every 2 hours. 8 o'clock, someone comes in, 10 o'clock, someone comes in, noon, and then 2 p.m. And depending on staffing, all of those are filled throughout that day. So we have good coverage and those shifts that come in during the day are usually call taking shifts. But once you're qualified for dispatching, you may come in and work a little bit as a call taker for a few hours and just answer phones, and then go and do dispatching for a few hours Okay, so you're never doing the exact same thing every single shift. We rotate and take different radios and whatnot. But those are the basic setup for how we run our shifts here. Again, all 12-hour shifts.
I'll start the next one. It says, can you share some insights into the technology and tools used in the dispatch center? We have a lot of things that are accessible to us to help us do our job. They're from GPS via any alley. When you call 911, we can track where you are in a general area. We also have things like rapid deploy that'll give us a more exact location from 95 to 97, 98%, and whatever meters you are away from that address. So if you call 911 and you have an emergency, we are able to track it more efficiently than I'm sure they did back in the day. We have things like Shot Spotter on the law side, where in an event of a shooting, if nobody calls 911, we still get the notification that there's been a shooting. It tells us different information like where it happened. It gives us a map and it pinpoint like on the sidewalk or in the driveway, things like that. That'll help us a lot in big incidents like that. We use the radio systems that are connected to basically all of the agencies in San Mateo County. So if any big scale events happen, we usually take over. We can talk on for the law side, we can talk on every police radio in the county except for maybe BART and CHP, but we can hear them. So that helps us a lot. Again, we're the county seat, so there's big scale incidents. I'm sure Robert knows more about the fire side, what kind of things he has to help him.
Yeah, so on the fire side, we have, and Veronica kind of alluded to some of these, we have a rapid deploy system as well, where when someone calls 911, we can see where they are and get a GPS location for them. We can do text to 911 with that. We have a specific systems for fire EMS, a system called Deccan, which is a application that helps us cover areas of the county properly. For the fire and medical side, there's expectations. We have to be within on scene. We have to get on scene within a certain amount of time. Okay. And so what we do is this application allows us to move units around where it potentially sees holes in the county. So if Menlo Park is very busy and all of those fire engines are out of service or on a call, this application will tell us, hey, I need you to move some units from here and move them over here so they can get on scene within a certain amount of time. Another system that we have is our ReadyNet system, which is a hospital tracking polling system. When we have mass casualty incidents, big events where we have multiple patients, we have the ability to notify the hospitals of this mass casualty event. And so then they can update what they have available as far as how many patients can they take or not take. So those are just two of the systems that we use. Again, with the radios, we have multiple channels that we talk on as well. For the fire and medical side, we dispatch for the entire county. So we go from the San Mateo, Santa Clara County line in East Palo Alto all the way up to Daly City on the San Francisco County line. And when you go out on the coast, we go all the way down to Santa Cruz County line down in Año Nuevo. So a very large area. So we have multiple radios that have the ability to allow us to communicate county-wide. And our biggest technology that we have is our CAD technology, or Versatron technology. That helps us to dispatch, track the units, which also includes our mapping system. We can see where our units are anywhere in the county. And that allows us to dispatch the closest unit to the call and see who potentially would be next to come in. This CAD system, computer automated dispatch, is what CAD stands for. It also allows us to document all the details of the calls. Our field units will give us information. We'll document that into the call so we know what's going on, so we know what has happened, etc. So that's just a few of the technologies that we have. and it's a lot of fun.
Next question I have is, what is the balance between working independently and as part of a team in the dispatcher role? As a dispatcher, I know my job is to be able to handle it solo and to do my job independently. A lot of it is working independently. If I'm working the sheriff's office radio, it's my radio. I do what the officers request me to do. But being a part of the team here is knowing that I don't have to do everything on my own. I always have my team members to help me. On the law side, we have a law mutual aid partner who is there to help us with anything we need, whether it's entering a vehicle into SBS, or if I'm in the middle of a big pursuit, officers are chasing, I have my partner saying, I'll call CHP, we'll call the next town over. They get everything started for you. So you never feel alone. There's always someone within 6 feet of you, and you just have somebody there. You never feel like you're going to be left alone to fail, because you know your team is there to help you.
Oops, I forgot to unmute myself. Okay, thank you so much, Veronica and Robert. I'm going to ask Ametrius and the rest of the panel the following questions. Okay, Ametrius, what kind of training and development programs do you offer to new recruits?
Well, once we have new recruits at PSC, first off, we send them to the Basic Dispatch Academy, which is a requirement by POST, which is the Police Office Standards and Testing. So we start there first. It's a 120-hour course, so they're out for 3 weeks to receive, the training to get certified as a basic dispatcher. Upon returning, they're sent off to the academy that we have in-house, and it can be for fire, EMS, or EMD as well. We also send them out to the International Academy of Emergency Dispatching to be certified as emergency medical dispatchers as well. So they receive 2 certifications upon getting hired, and one is through POST and one is from the IAED.
Thank you, Ametrius. Next, I'm going to ask a question to Jeff. Okay, what qualities and skills are you looking for in potential candidates interested in joining your team?
This is a great question. So the job of dispatcher, as we mentioned earlier, is an entry-level job, and we do provide significant training. So really what we're looking for, and I'm talking dispatcher 1 here, dispatcher 2 is a little bit different. I'll touch on that in a sec. Dispatcher 1, we're really looking for life experience. This is a serious job, and we want people that are able to take it seriously and be able to handle what happens here on an everyday basis. 2, it's in the title, we're San Mateo County Communications. So we're looking for people that know how to communicate. Someone who is comfortable talking over a phone or has experience using a radio. It could be as a security guard or as a bus driver where you're using a radio all the time. Or it could be as simple as, hey, I work at Burger King and I have a headset and I take orders through the drive-through. All of these are translatable skills to what dispatchers do. Another unique one is we like people with gaming experience. If you are up with a headset on and talking to people while you're doing things with your hands, at the end of the day, that's what dispatchers do. They take information either over the phone or through a headset and put it into the CAD. So it's a lot of transferable skills. Another big thing we look for is just the ability to operate in a team in a pressure environment. Now, you're never going to simulate the pressure of a large-scale incident in a 911 center, but we look for lower level. Let's say you work at a Starbucks, a busy morning Starbucks in a metropolitan center, where 3 of you are working together to make sure you keep up those orders of all those people coming through the door on their way to work. If one person drops the ball, if the person taking the orders isn't taking them fast enough, if the person working the bar isn't making drinks quick enough, if the person who's working the kind of handout station isn't getting those drinks from the bar and getting them to customers, the whole operation fails. And that's kind of what we do here. We have someone that answers the phone and talks directly to the reporting party. We have another person who's on the radio getting those units to that person who needs help. And if the two of them aren't communicating and sharing information, it makes it hard. So we look for not necessarily experience in those things, but demonstrated ability to learn them and do them. And then two, we look for people that are wanting to work in a public safety environment. As I mentioned before, we're 24/7, which means Christmas, Thanksgiving, and 4th of July. And it means 2 p.m. and 2 a.m. And it means when that phone rings, we have to answer it no matter what. We are answering that phone. So people that understand that responsibility is something we look for when they come on board. Other than that, like I said, it's an entry-level job. And if you have a way to demonstrate those abilities, we'd love to talk to you. On the dispatcher 2 level, I mean, we're always interested in someone that's coming to us with dispatch experience. Again, we prefer it from a public safety environment because it's different. But if you're coming with, EMS dispatching or service dispatching, whether that's, maybe you work for a Department of Public Works, maybe you work for animal control, maybe you work for another entity that's very similar to public safety. We're always interested in that, and we have a little bit different of a path, which we refer to as the dispatcher 2 recruitment, for those people who are coming in the industry with some experience already. But the majority of hiring we do is for our entry-level position. We also have support staff here. We're about to open an IT recruitment. We're looking for people that have experience working with radio systems and working in a public safety environment in a support role. We have payroll folks here. We have IT folks here. We have GIS folks here. So if there's anyone on the call that has experience in those areas or has friends or family with experience in those areas, we don't just hire dispatchers here. We hire those folks as well.
Thank you, Jeff. The next question is for Natasha and Amitrius. This is actually one of my favorite questions that we got asked. What sets us apart from other 911 centers?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I'm excited to share that what sets us apart from other 911 centers is we are civilian leadership reporting to the county executive who not only understands the importance of our role, but supports our vision of elevating our profession and maintaining a healthy culture that we can all be proud of. County Executive Mike Callaghy made a decision to make us a department. And what that means for us, and when that happened in October of 2021, is we were able to build a department from the administrative side to help support the important role that the dispatcher does daily. The work that the dispatcher does is so critically important to everyone that we serve in the county of San Mateo. And as you can imagine, that day can be stressful. As you've heard from many of the panelists, our two experts, Veronica and Robert Nieves, that the day in the life of a dispatcher, people aren't calling on their best days. Most times people are calling for help. Other times people are calling for information. So to create a culture where we have professionals who are sitting here day in and day out answering that next call, it's really what we're focusing on is we are creating a healthy culture of retention with a dispatcher voice. Let me tell you about some of the things that we're doing. We have discipline-specific dispatch groups, which provide dispatchers an opportunity to provide a voice in some of the operational updates and decisions that we make each day. In those smaller groups, they're able to participate with their managers and supervisors and really hear about are our policies in line with what the work that we are doing each day? And if they're not, taking a look at those and making adjustments. We have a well-being committee focused on well-being initiatives to specifically to support our team doing the difficult job. We have training officers who train our newest members at the console, and we have training instructors who develop curriculum and instruct in our classrooms. We're doing all of this by also providing training and support for those that are doing that tough work. We provide monthly ongoing training where we are bringing in training specifically to develop our team as 911 professionals. We are elevating our profession and recognizing our team for the work that they do each day towards building a healthy 911 center. We're constantly looking for creative ways to recognize them for the great work that they do, and providing that support. All of our team members are members of APCO, NINA, and our post-certified dispatchers. Some of our team members are certified emergency medical dispatchers, providing pre-arrival instructions during medical calls. We have an EMD quality assurance group who participates in looking at the calls for service and looking at the feedback from the national queue system, which is basically looking and listening to our calls and ensuring that we're doing them correctly. And then we have a team that supports that role to make sure that our dispatchers are getting the best training and the feedback to do the job that they can do every day. We continue to send our team to conferences and bring back what they've learned to share with the rest of the team. Maybe there's an idea that they received at a conference and now they want to implement that here. We're doing those things because we believe that the future of this organization, an organization of retention, a healthy organization, it doesn't just fall on the team that's doing the hard work each day. It follows on us as a leadership group to help create pathways and opportunities for the future leaders of our profession. And that's really what we're trying to do here. I want to turn over to Ametris because I'm excited about what she's going to say.
Well, you said it best. There's nothing else that I can say other than support of what Natasha said. And that's how we plan to move PSC forward in the new wave of the future. But you did a good job with that, Natasha. Thanks.
Thank you both so much. The next question is for Veronica. Are there opportunities for career growth and advancement within the Office of Public Safety Communications?
Yes, so there's a bunch of things that we have the opportunity to do. A couple of them have already been mentioned. Robert and I are both certified training officers. Robert is a certified training instructor. There's different things like the gang task force dispatcher. You learn how to work with specifically gang task force and you're dedicated to helping them. You have to go through special training for that and a special recruitment. There's the tactical training that you use for our SWAT agencies that we have. We have a couple, like each agency has their own SWAT team that we can send our SWAT tactical trained dispatchers out to. There's always opportunity to advance. You can apply to be a supervisor. We have people up in upper management that started as dispatchers. You can do supervisor, management, operational things that you're allowed to do. If you're not ready to take the bigger step, you can start with being an acting supervisor. You're not technically a supervisor, you're still a dispatcher, but you take on the role if there's an absence. And there's always things popping up, like we just started the law operations committee again. I'm sure they have fire operations committees as well that goes over things that need to happen in the dispatch center. There's the well-being committee. There's a whole bunch of different things for different personalities in the dispatch center that is available for any of us to apply to.
Thank you so much, Veronica. And our last question of today's virtual event is for Jeff. Can you discuss the benefits and compensation packages offered to your team members?
Aha, the big question, of course. So all of the benefit and compensation information is attached to all of the job postings. And the county offers some fantastic benefits. It's almost too robust to really go over in our time here. So I highly recommend you go on to the county's website and take a look at what makes most sense for you. We offer numerous medical plans. One's a Kaiser plan, one's a Blue Cross Blue Shield or Aetna or whatever it is these days. And each one has PPO and everything. Like literally there's 12 different plans that you can pick to make the most sense for you and your family. We offer vision coverage, we offer dental coverage, we offer supplemental life insurance, everything in between. The county has some strategic partnerships with insurance companies to offer discounts for car insurance and things like that. We have a deferred compensation program, which is very similar to a private sector 401k, where you can place your pre-tax money or post-tax, if you want to do a Roth IRA, into a savings account that would be accessible upon retirement or separation from the county. And the big one, the coup de grace, is we offer a pension plan. We are a standalone pension. We're not part of CalPERS. And that's just something that's hard to find and pretty non-existent outside of the public sector, and really a huge perk for putting in your time as a public service employee. One of the nice things about PSC specifically, in addition to the listed starting salary for both of the positions, the dispatcher 1, the dispatcher 2, through a negotiated bonus, we'll call it, the salary is increased by 10% on day 1. So right now, if that salary, for even numbers sake, is $100,000, you're actually going to make $110,000. It's a 10% differential that is built into all dispatcher salaries. In addition to that, we offer a number of what's referred to as differentials. So if you end up get assigned to a night shift, you would receive a 5.74% increase for working nights. As you increase in experience, not only does the county have a longevity pay function where you get a certain percentage every 5, 10, 15 years, but in addition, as you get certified by post, which we talked about a little bit earlier, each one of those certifications comes with a pay bump. As Veronica and Robert mentioned, if you're a communications training officer, you get paid 11% whenever you're doing your training. Whenever you have a trainee next to you, you get an additional 11%. You get an additional bonus, or excuse me, differential, if you get cross-trained on both sides of the room. So if you're a dispatcher that's trained as both a fire EMS dispatcher and a law dispatcher, no matter what you're doing, you get another 10%. The compensation package here at our agency, we feel, is very, very generous. And it really gives our dispatchers an opportunity to carve out a pretty good life for themselves, even in San Mateo County, which can be one of the most expensive counties in the entire nation. We feel our pay scale allows you to live in this county and work in this county and be a member of this county, and something we're very proud of. But like I said, tons more information on our website. Snap a photo of the QR code. There'll be a link in the job posting. There's links on our website. There's links on the county that you can go through and see what things the county offers that makes the most sense for you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Okay, this concludes our virtual event. Thank you to all our panelists for sharing your insights and expertise with us today. Your dedication to public safety communications is truly inspiring, and to all our attendees, we appreciate your active participation and curiosity about this vital profession. Before we wrap up, I want to remind everyone that the recruitment for Dispatcher 1 and 2 is currently open, and we are actively accepting applications. Please visit the current recruitment section of our website to apply. As you can see on the resource page that's showing now, we have websites, we have the QR code, along with Chet Overstreet's email if you have any recruitment questions. And once again, thank you all for being part of this exclusive virtual event. We hope to see you soon as part of our fantastic team. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.